Hello and welcome to my special edition Saturday. No, usually I don't do Facebook Lives on Saturday, but just knowing my upcoming schedule and everything going on, that getting my kids ready to go back to college and stuff, I thought, you know what, I'm going to do a Saturday edition. And it worked out because I spent most of my day at home or out in my garden, and I've already froze green beans and got sweet corn picked and cucumbers and all that yummy stuff and tomatoes. So I'm looking forward to supper tonight actually with those fresh BLTs from the garden and all the fresh veggies that go with that. So yeah, so I thought, you know what, why not just schedule a Facebook Live too? And then I get to spend a little bit of time in my stamp room as well. So I'm just going to make sure that I can see myself on my iPad, and it's taken a little bit of time for that to kind of catch up. And maybe that'll allow some more people to jump on too. I always like to have this ready, so if you guys have questions, you can ask too. So I'm continuing on today with card number 2 for Lisa Kenneke's Facebook virtual crafting party here. And there's Lisa, the hostess. Very good. Okay. And I just realized my feed could be really slow because I do have a college boy home and he is gaming, and so that might be taking away my internet connection. But I usually can still see on my my Facebook and comments on my phone. So I think I'll just go with that for today and see how that goes. So let's get to the card. And so today's card has a fall theme, and I'm using the stamp set Rooted in Nature. Hi, Cheryl. And so this is the stamp set Rooted in Nature, and I love this. So the reason it has a rubber band around it is anytime Stampin' Up! Has those really large stamp sets, then you get 2 stamp sets put together for, you know, the 1 or 2 cases, I should say, for the 1 stamp set. So those are the 2 big cases. I love the stamp set, and I haven't used it for a while. I almost felt like when it first came out, I used it all the time, and I thought, oh, are people gonna be tired of the stamp set? But where I'm freshening it up today is I don't think I've ever used the stamp set with the color Real Red, and then Cinnamon Cider too is one of the new ink colors. So I was really excited to put this creation together. So let me flip my camera around and get started with the creation. Get my tripod moved down. Okay, so if you like to follow along in the catalog, I am pulling the stamp set from the annual catalog this time. So yes, you would think that I would just stay with that fun new holiday catalog, but like I said, I just love fall, and so I'm pulling it from here on page 30, so you can tell it's a huge stamp set there too. And there's coordinating dies, but I'm not even going to use any of the coordinating dies today, so that's going to be kind of fun. So let's see, I'm already thinking that I forgot a piece of cardstock in my room just for a scratch paper. I'm gonna see if I have any on my table. So maybe while other people join in, I'm just gonna run and get that. Okay, I'm back. As I looked over my card, I went, you know what? There's one more piece that I need to complete it. I already know. Okay, like I say, I keep things real. All right, so I'm just going to put my card up there, and I've went over the stamp set. So what I'm going to do then is go with the cardstock colors that I'm using, because with fall it's always so fun to have so many different color choices that we can use. So the card base is going to be Crumb Cake, and then the next layer that I'm going to emboss is the Real Red, and then I'm going to do a little bit with white, Whisper White, and then that new color Cinnamon Cider. So let me start maybe just with the embossing. to get that kind of out of the way. That's the only thing I need the Big Shot for. And so the embossing folders, they are from the annual catalog as well. And these are kind of a double or a combo pack, 2-pack of embossing folders. It's called Greenery Embossing Folders. And it's kind of in the section with the Forever Fern and such. Hi, Barb. Thanks for joining in. So there's a couple different patterns. The one I'm using is the top kind of greenery one, and I know I've used this one with you guys before too, so I'm going to use this one. I really like this one because it's busy, but on different colored cardstock like the red today. I like busier patterns just because I think it'll pick it up better there too. So I'm just making sure I have the right embossing folder. And so what I have here is a strip of real red, and that is cut 5 1/4 by 2 1/4. And I'll just slide that in my folder here like so. And when I've used this folder, it's not 3D, so I can just put the regular platform and my 2 cutting plates there. When I've used this folder, I have a tough time, and I don't think it really matters so much if it's going up or down. So here's the pattern, and I just think it's kind of interesting how I feel like the leaves are going up, and then I'll turn it around, and then some of them are going up and some of them are going down. Hi, Julie. I need to email you back. Just know that I'm thinking of you, and thanks for joining in, and I'll touch base with you tonight. So that's going to be where we're going to pull some of our texture in. And then on the card base, I want to add some, just so it's not so blah there too. So my card base is the crumb cake, and that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I'm just going to take my cinnamon cider ink pad and open that up. And there's a couple different but similar looking leaves, just a different size, a larger and a smaller. So I'm going to take the larger, and what I'm going to do is just stamp some random leaves with my cinnamon cider, and I'm not going to re-ink after every time, so that way I kind of get some lighter and darker. And if they don't turn out perfect, honestly, you really don't see a lot of this on the card, because this is about the only part that will show, and just little peaks around the edge here too. So that is the cinnamon cider color. And normally I do kind of color on color, but this is kind of the tone that I wanted it to be here on that. So, and then I'm just going to go right to kind of the focal point. And so I love this card. And the funny thing about that is usually when I say something like that, I'll be like, oh, I don't want to sound like I'm bragging. But if you're ever at a stamp camp, I say, oh, that's my favorite card, or, you know, that's such a beautiful card. Usually that's followed by, and I copied it by such and such, because it seems like anything, we're always more excited about something somebody else did. So I actually have tried to case this card as close as I could from Karen Hadler. And so what I loved is her color combination. And then what I also loved is she tried to come up with her own designer series papers. So when you see this, often I'm bringing in different designer series paper. So she said, I'm making my own designer series paper out of this. And so this kind of looks like one of those cards like, oh my goodness, that person spent a lot of time. But once you see how easy it is to just create this kind of designer series paper, or kind of the background for the greeting on there, then you'll know kind of what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to start with kind of this tree. I call it the slice of the tree, and I'm just inking it up to get that all solidly inked up with crumb cake, but I want it to be more subtle. So after I know it's all inked up, I'm going to take a lot of that ink off by just stamping it off on my paper there, and then I'm going to put it on my card. So we have that in a lighter crumb cake. So I put it on pretty solid, just so that I know it's all covered on there. And then once it's stamped off, then I know I'm going to achieve that color that I want. And I just stamped that one time. And then I'll go to my cinnamon cider again. And that I kind of want to do full strength because I love how, and I'll stamp it once and show you, I love how intricate those veins are in the leaves, how you see that, and I love how well that outside edge, it just looks like one of those leaves that you can pick up in the fall, and it's almost like see-through. And I actually went back to the catalog too. I'm going to do a little bit more stamping with the same color as I talk. I went back to the catalog and kind of looked and to see if this was one of those distinctive, which means kind of the way it's shaded when it's manufactured, if it was a distinctive stamp set, and it's not. It says it's not, but I kind of feel like it has that tendency because it really pulls in a lot of the texture. And then next I'm going to move to the smaller and go with Real Red. Like I said, I don't think I would have chosen like this color combination on my own, and it's just gorgeous. So I'm glad I stumbled upon this. So I'm just going to do that. So by stamping, inking it up in Real Red and stamping it a couple times without re-inking, I'm getting different color combinations as well as the cinnamon cider too. So it looks like I'm using a lot of different ink pads, but I'm just sticking with the same three there, the crumb cake, the Real Red, and the cinnamon cider. Thanks, Carol, and thanks for joining in, Marie. Yes, this is going to turn out really pretty, I hope, if I can follow the instructions of the other person. And then next, I don't even think in the Rooted in Nature stamp set, I don't even know if I've ever used this stamp before. I almost feel like it looks more like a weed than it does anything like a leaf or whatever. And when I stamped it out, I realized I wanted a lighter cinnamon cider than what was showing up. So I'm going to stamp that off and then put it on my card. And I feel like it gives it kind of a nice little rusty look. And maybe because it's solid, I didn't want it to kind of take over the card too much. So I do love the rusty color that cinnamon cider gives it when it's stamped off like that. Thanks, Cheryl. Yes, it's not Halloween, but thank you for liking it still. I'm just teasing. Hi, Lois. Thanks for joining in. Okay, and then this is another one too. I think when I go to Rooted in Nature, I'm often using that stamp set for the leaves and the trees and things, and so I haven't done a lot with this image either. So I love how I'm getting to use different images that normally I'm not. So just bringing that in, it makes me think of walking through a grove or something where you have those tall grasses and such. So I'm just going to pull in some of that as well. Actually, this side looks like it just needs a little bit of color. So I'm just going to do that too. So there is that. And so once again, just making kind of some designer series paper. So, well, thanks, Lisa. I'm glad you like your card because you're going to get this card in the mail because it's your party. So next I'm just going to take this and, and this is 3 inches by 4 inches. And I'm just going to take my adhesive and put that on some cinnamon cider. And so usually I do a 1/4 inch backing, and I didn't want to do a full 1/4 inch. So I call this my almost 3 1/4 and almost my 4 1/4. So if I'm being technical, it's probably 3 3/8 by 4 3/8 too. So, and then I'm pulling out some ribbon. And you guys know me, and you know I'm not going to do a fancy bow, and a bow just wouldn't fit for this type of card. But this is what I struggled with more than anything, was how to tie it. I wanted to get the red around there, and I wanted to pull in some linen, and I started by just wrapping it around and tying the red and then adding the linen, and I didn't like the way it kind of was competing. So I thought I'm going to put the two together, and then I'm going to, hopefully they stay together. Let me get it to the top again. And I'm going to use them at the same time. Okay, so let me just wrap that. And so this is, linen thread, but then this is new. So they used to have a braided linen trim. Actually, we still do, but now they have a new red color. So it's kind of a thickly woven, but not thick as far as how much texture it adds in bulk to your card. Okay, so I just kind of wind that around the card a couple times. It's always a little bit trickier when there's two at the same time. And I have to make sure they both go through there and then through that loop too. Yay, they both made it, so good. And so I'm not gonna make sure anything's lined up. I just want them both around, and if they looked diagonal, that would be fine. If not, that would be fine too. So I just want to kind of cut these so I have the right length that I want for the card. And then because of kind of the rustic look of the card, I kind of want to just fray this just a little bit and fray this one just a little bit too. Actually, I probably should have just cut it with my other scissors, my paper trimming scissors, not my ribbon cutting scissors, and it would probably look about like that. So I just want a little bit of a fray to that. So that is that. And then to continue kind of the layering process, I'm going to take, whoa, there, that got ink on it, so I don't want to get it on my fingers there. I'm wiping it on the inside of my shirt. I don't want cinnamon cider to be somewhere where it's not supposed to be. So I'm just going to take with my seal here and put this embossed layer off to the side here. And then for our sentiment, I'm using this one that says, be strong, be happy, be you, and it's all together. And so what I'm going to do is just ink that up in real red, like so. And that one just really, hopefully the camera will pick that up. It's wanting to be blurry. There we go. So be strong, be happy too. I love stamps that kind of ink everything but the sentiment, and so that leaves it in white, kind of a reverse look there. And while that just dries for a second, I'm going to attach this to my card with some dimensionals. Not that the braided trim is too thick, like I said, but I think this will just make it so that it's not wobbly. So I'm just gonna put about 5, one in each corner and one in the center, just to kind of give that layer some oomph on there, like so. And then that's going to go on the card like so, and just makes all those colors pop. Love that. This lady was very creative that I'm copying from. So sometimes I'll see a card and I'll want to kind of make little tweaks to it, but hers I just really wanted to try and do as much as possible the same. So with this, I'm going to just freehand cut Be Strong and make sure that I'm not getting too close to the next Be Happy. And just going to slice off that end too. And then the last one, Be You. So because of the way this is blocked out too with that stamped image there, it's really easy to cut out. And then to pop that up a little bit, just because this background is so busy, I want to pop up the 3 little strips of paper there. So the Be You is pretty tiny, so I'm going to use my mini dimensionals. I just used these, was it yesterday or a couple days ago, the black ones, and so these are just the white mini dimensionals. You can tell they're really, really tiny. And so I'm just going to put that down on my stump there, and that's where this nice background here just kind of helps kind of set that for these to go on. And then the Be Happy, I'm just going to put another mini dimensional right in the center of that and off to the side. And then Be Strong is a little bit longer, so I'm going to put one on each side, like so, and kind of offset that there. So Be Strong, Be Happy, Be You. And I can think of a handful of people that I could be sending this to right now. Thank you, Robin. Sometimes I think, you know, like I like to do cards up ahead of time, but now during COVID, there's just so many people I think that are struggling and need encouragement through cards that we're not able to maybe see. And so I think I'm going to be getting quite a few of these cards ready to send out, and it's something that I don't have to worry about if I have enough background paper, because I will be making, you know, all of this as kind of a background paper. So that works out pretty nice too. And then my last thing that I want to add, which these things don't look like they would go together at all, kind of the bright new 2020-2022 enamel in color dots there, and then the red rhinestones. And I use tons of these red rhinestone jewels, but when I pair up the cinnamon cider and the red rhinestone jewels, it's perfect. So I'm just going to take my Take Your Pick tool here and pull off one of the cinnamon cider, and I kind of want to pick a spot that's kind of white up there so that they actually show up like so. And then I'm going to do that same thing kind of in the middle of the card. Oops, I need some more of my tacky stuff. I kind of pushed my little enamel dot and got the tacky on it. There we go. So I'm going to put that in the center of my card there and remove the tacky from my Take Your Pick tool. I don't know if I've ever had that happen. Okay, and then grab another one of these rhinestones like so, kind of just pairing that up. And then this is still kind of busy, but I just want to end it with one more little red rhinestone down there. So yes, aren't these colors beautiful? Like I said, I can just brag up this card all day long because I have such an easier time bragging up a card when I can give credit to the person who actually designed it. And like I said, Karen Hadler, she's a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I saw this and I screenshotted it from my phone right away because I just thought, oh, that's gorgeous, and hope that I could get back to her blog to figure out which colors that she used when it was time to make it. So like I said, the only thing that I kind of had to adjust when I was looking at it was her cinnamon cider looked light like this, and when I was stamping mine, it started to turn dark. So just stamping it off will give you some more color definition, and you could even do that more with some of the leaves too if you wanted to. But what a fun way to welcome fall with a card like this. So let me get my phone turned around here. Yes. Okay. Oops. Ah. Okay, now I thought I had it locked into place. There we go. Locked into place. Okay, so that is card number 2 for Lisa Koenigke's virtual stamp parties. So how you get the cards I made yesterday, today, and then the next one will be next Wednesday afternoon. The way you get the cards that I'm making is they come all made up. I do 100% completion on them to stay in compliance with Stampin' Up. But if you order a minimum $25 order towards Lisa's party using her host code, then you'll get the cards that I'm making for her party as a thank you from both Lisa and I. So next I'm going to take and download this card onto this Facebook page, as well as all the list of accessories used to create it. So I know a lot of you will probably be checking back to make sure that you have the right cardstock color and ink colors for that, because it is such a gorgeous color combination. So hope you guys are having a great weekend, and I will see you guys next Wednesday. Take care.